So, what did I do this holiday season? It was catching a scammer. The music industry is the perfect place for predators to prey. Let me explain why. Whenever you have an industry where there's a big dream involved, and the average person can explain in detail how something works, even people inside the industry don't know how it works. That illusion, that glamorizing of something can put people in a very, very vulnerable place. Just like a sunken treasure. Think of a sunken treasure from the old movies. There were always sharks circling around it. And that's what happens in the music industry. There are so many scammers, from people who teach courses but have never actually done the thing that they're teaching, to people who are selling you the idea that they can get you onto Spotify playlist. There's even artists who will pretend like they can get you in on a feature or get you in on a studio session with another mainstream artist, and they'll sell this to you for some crazy rate. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how I spent my holidays, not only with the family, but also catching a scammer. I'm going to show you all the messages that they sent me as they try to pretend like they worked for Sony Records. And I get so many people who ask me about these things, so I'm going to show you my interactions with this scammer. Check it out. All right, let's kick it off. So this guy's name is Richard David. That's the name it goes by. Now, funny enough, it's just two first names, Richard David, which would make it really hard to find someone. But Richard writes me and says, "Nice track. Are you signed?" Now, I have no track that's featured on my account. So I say, "Which track are you referring to?" Richard says, "A snippet on your page, and I love it." He says, "All right, man, I'm actually an agent for Sony Records, scouting for upcoming artists, and I would like you to join Sony Records." All right, well, that would be great. Of course, everyone wants to sign to Sony Records. Now, just for anyone out there, this would never happen if Sony Records was actually looking to scout you. It wouldn't come like this. And more importantly, I'll show you how it looks when it comes to someone's email. When someone works for Sony, it would be their name, and it says @sony.com. So if your name was Richard David, it would be david.r@sony.com. You cannot get a Sony email without working for Sony. So what happens with these scam artists? And then he says, "Yeah, bruh. So how old are you? How long have you been into music, and what's your experience so far?" I say, "I've been dreaming of this for so long. Thank you. I'm 25. I've been making music since I was 13, making tracks in my bedroom. Are you going to fly me out to your office to sign the contract, or do you send it in an email?" All right, this is where it gets funny. "Are you going to fly me out to your office, or are you just going to send me this record contract from the one song you say you heard of mine?" He says, "I'm going to book a flight for you to come to Tennessee to our head counter." So for anyone who just caught that red flag, it's not called a head counter. It's called headquarters. Wow, that's a wow, but I certainly would put it in the word because I felt it when I listened to it. It isn't perfect yet, but you're getting there. So this is them trying to give me a little bit of luring me in. You're not quite there, kid. Keep working on it. So then I said to him, "Oh, cool. What's a head counter?" Because I want to catch on if they knew what we're talking about. And I say, "Yes, I still need a little work, but my parents said they would invest in me." Now, this part's important. I want to lure them in. I want to see what they were going to do. So that's why I said my parents. Because what they'll tend to do with these scammers is they'll try to get money from you. So if I always said I had to go appease somebody else, like I had to appease my parents, I could ask more questions, because if they just said, "Oh, I don't think you're hungry enough, kid," it could stop there. So as long as it's the parents, I have to talk to the parents first. So if you know the right people to hire, just tell me where to send the money. I want to get started ASAP. Because I know this whole thing is all about money. And that's why I want to see what they were going to talk about. When I said, "What's the head counter?" He goes, "One of the biggest Sony record label and TV in the USA. So obviously this person is not from the United States. This is not how people from the United States talk. One of the biggest Sony record label and TV in USA. I mean, yeah, there's a Sony TV. Yes. "So what kind of deal do you want to get in? I mean, what's your choice preference?" No record label says that. What kind of deal you want to get in? And I said, "I want to get started ASAP." He said, "Good, I love that." He said, okay, the deal I'm trying to get you, here's where it gets important. The deal I'm trying to get you is $8K a week for just 3 tracks. That's all. You just need to make 3 songs standard quality for $8,000 weekly. Don't worry about studio time or fees. Now, this sounds like a dream to someone. Don't worry about the studio time. Don't worry about the fees, and we're going to give you $8,000. Now, it's not really clear here when it says $8,000 a week for 3 tracks. That's all. So are they paying me? Am I paying them? It's not really clear. But here's the thing. They also send a picture of a pass, like a pass that you would wear to go into Sony. The funny thing about this pass, and you can zoom in on it, is the letters are not on a clear line. They're slightly staggered. So the person makes a fake lanyard to pretend like they work at Sony with this weird picture. Now, they also then sent a picture of themselves wearing it in the mirror. I'm going to block out their face because I don't know if this person is a real person. There might be some guy right now who has no clue that his pictures are being put and used in a scam. So I don't want his face to go in here if that's the case. Okay, so here's what's interesting. He says, download WhatsApp. Or I say he, but whoever this person is says, download WhatsApp and hit me up there. Now, I didn't want to take it to WhatsApp. I wanted to keep it all here so I can document it. But it's interesting. I said, okay, real quick before you go, I got to go speak with my parents. And you're going to notice something while I'm talking. I keep saying one more question. Oh, real quick. It's because I want to see how long they'll actually stay and talk to me. And this conversation in total, we're going to fly through this, but this is almost 4 hours throughout a day, back and forth, with breaks in between. But we're going to skip right through that. So real quick, before I go speak to my parents, are you saying that Sony is going to pay me $8K per week, or should my parents pay $8K per week? This is so exciting. They write, yes, Guy, but not at once. Doesn't answer the question. Is Sony paying $8,000, or am I paying, or parents paying $8,000? Not answered here. So I say yes. Yes, is Sony paying me, or yes, my parents will be paying? Which one is it? Their registration form is $1,000, which you can get a refund back as soon as you request for one, okay? So still has not answered this question. This to me is just showing red flag after red flag after red flag. The unfortunate part is that some people, even after this, would still talk to this person and they would still get scammed by this person because they want the dream so bad of a record label signing them or to work with one. This is not how any of this stuff happens in the real music industry. But I keep playing along. That sounds good, but you still didn't answer my question. Is Sony paying me $8K per week, or should I get my parents to pay Sony $8K per week? And here's where it gets interesting. Sony is going to pay you $8K in a week. All you have to do is make 3 tracks. What? That makes no sense. So I go into it. Wow, amazing. And now I'm trying to stack the deck a little bit. Are you looking for a female artist too? My cousin is an amazing singer. She sounds like Adele, Taylor Swift, and Cardi B. My cousin sounds like Adele, Taylor Swift, and Cardi B. Just all rolled into one. And so I found a picture of an AI Instagram model, and I put it in there. So I'll show you this AI Instagram. And I think you can kind of tell if you look closely that this piano is not real. I think this is AI generated. So anyway, we go into a little bit. He's like, so your parents are going to pay for the form. Then we're going to book a flight for you and your team to get the contract. And then we asked about female artists. He's like, yes, of course. That's amazing. Where are you located? So I'd say, she's in London. I'm in Paris. And he's like, we have a lot of fantastic artists here when you're ready to pay for the registration. And so I go, sounds great. One more question. One last question. You notice I keep doing this with this person. One last question. Will I be the producer or the artist? Because remember, they just said, I like your track. They say, based on what you're perfect with. Once again, not clear English. Doesn't make sense. So I just say, I feel perfect as an artist. Is that okay? And then they say, but our work is to provide good promoters and make sure your song spreads out over the world. Amazing. I need promotion. Yes, bro, but that's not the problem once you're here. Once again, okay, real quick question. Why are you in Tennessee? Isn't that for country music? I don't do country music. Now, obviously, Tennessee is for different kinds of music, but I want to see what they were going to say. No, not for country music. I just have a studio there. And this is where we start getting details. Oh, you have a studio. Okay, send me the website link for the studio. Thanks, so I can check it out. Then here's what gets interesting. Laugh out loud. Don't stress yourself, bro. Just let the process this contract. You're a fantastic artist, bro. Do let me know when you're ready to proceed with me, okay? I'll be waiting for your response. Then I respond, sounds great, but I'm not stressed. I'm just asking to see what kind of studio setup you have there. Do you not have a professional website link for the studio? So here's where I'm pressing a little bit. I'm kind of like, oh, if you say you're this big rep, don't you have a professional website to look at? I just need to show my parents something, remember? Because I'm going to say it's on the parents. I just need to show my parents something so they will pay. So if you just have a few pictures of the studio, that will help. And he says, yeah, bro, I understand. You can message on WhatsApp. Then I can send you a studio there. I don't talk a lot here. Okay, sounds good. I just don't have WhatsApp and my phone doesn't have a lot of space left. So I'd rather talk here first until I remove things. So it'd be easier if you could send me pictures in the studio here. Then I'll speak with my parents. And then I said, I'll download WhatsApp later on this week. He says, okay, wait. Then I respond, my parents are coming over to my house in an hour to talk about this as a Christmas gift. So we'll send the money soon. Please send the pictures of the studio ASAP. So then they send the pictures. They send pictures, not pictures of a real studio. And you're going to see them here. These are all different studios. And these are all different people. So I'm assuming they just went in and typed in Tennessee studio and just took pictures. These are all different boards. These are all different rooms in a facility. So this idea that this is the place is crazy. But once again, they're thinking that people are just going to see pictures and get excited. They say, that's all my guy in charge of studio. That's all my guys in charge of the Tennessee studio. And then it says, okay, bro, here are the artists on Sony. And it says like Doja Cat, Brandon Lake, Kirk Franklin, Future, Run DMC, blah, blah, blah. This is our fantastic artist list. Now, I hadn't responded in a little bit because I was doing things. And then it says, Adam, what your parents said, are they not like it? Once again, we can tell they're not from America. And if they are from America, then they have horrible English. And then I say to them, is this the studio you have in Tennessee? He says, yes, my brother. I say, okay, great. My parents have a couple questions then. Are you ready? Here are the questions. He says, yes. I said, okay, here are the questions. Will I be staying at a hotel that Sony's providing? He said, once you sign to our label, we're going to provide you with a safe apartment for you and your team. Trust me, you're safe with us. Now, we couldn't be farther than safe with working with this person. And unfortunately, this person's going to write people who are pretty young, and they're going to believe this stuff. This is not safe. I would never recommend this, nor recommend this person. Next thing you know, my parents are asking, when I fly to Tennessee, will I be in a hotel that Sony's paying for, or should I find an Airbnb? So once again, I'm trying to see what they're going to say, like who's paying for all this stuff, how this actually works. And then he goes, yes, all hotel bills will be paid by Sony, and we're going to provide a car service. And then he shows me pictures of what looks like a family next to a car. This is getting really weird. So I go, okay, next question. What's the name of the engineer at the studio? He says Chris Young. Now, the funny thing about the name Chris Young is, once again, it's a very simple name, but Chris Young is also an artist in Nashville. Or is a country artist. So he might have just typed in something and found the name. I said, cool, does he have big credits? He says, sure. Now, once again, the reason why I ask this is because if you have big credits, you can always prove these things. If you have a studio, you can always prove these things. I'm asking for things that are provable. And if you ever get hit up by a scammer, you should be doing the same thing. Finding things that are provable and not ideas or concepts. I said, great, can you send us the link to his credits? After that, we should be good to pay the initial fee. So, if these credits are real, we'll pay you. Then here's the interesting thing. You don't need all that, what you're asking for. I'm your Sony record label agent, not an engineer. That's not the question I just asked. Trust. After you pay for your registration form bill, we can. None of this makes sense still. None of this makes any sense whatsoever. So then I go back with the idea of the parents. My parents just want to see what the people you have working at your studio have done. I don't think it's that big of a deal if they have the big credits like you said. I'm flying all the way from Paris. If Chris doesn't have big credits, it's okay. Just tell me if he's an amateur. So what I'm doing here is I'm poking. I'm like, if you say you're so big, then prove it. And you should all do that. You should all be able to ask questions. If you don't get the answers, you should poke back. You should say, prove it. Because what happens is you'll start to see the red flags when you tell them to prove things. He goes, Guy, I won't lie to you. Because you're a fantastic upcoming artist, all this long chat I've been with, I don't allow with anyone else. That still didn't answer my question. So they're trying to use a part of authority. Don't ever bend to authority like this because it's not real authority. And I just wrote, good to hear. Play the game. Just tell your parents when you get here, you're going to see everything with your face. And I go, yes, just be calm. I'll promise you I don't have an issue here. I just told them what you said. Now watch, this gets really funny. I said, I just told them what you said. He goes, okay, my brother. I said, do you want to know what my dad said? He goes, yes. He said, get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. He said, that don't make no kind of sense. So then I said, so I guess I shouldn't have told him what you said. He said, if the engineer was really that big, then we could see his credits. I'm not paying any money unless they show us credits. So the person responds, trust me, your dad don't want your progress. Yeah, my dad, he doesn't want to see me progress. He's against this. I said, yeah, my dad doesn't want to see me shine, but you do. He says, I'm trying because you're the kind of artist Sony record label and entertainment need, but your parents don't really see you performing in whole of Paris. And what is the credit you're asking for? Notice how he said, but what is the credit you're asking for? And it's because I told him, Dad's not going to pay it unless there's something here. And I said, they're just asking for a link to Chris Young engineer credits, since you said he worked on big songs. Once they see that, they'll pay and we can get started. He goes, okay, do you want to chat with him? And here's the thing. No, we don't want to chat. We want to see something that's provable. And this is where anyone else, if you have a scammer, you want things that are provable. You don't want to talk to someone because they're going to try to get you into like a hook thing where you're talking and they pull you in. You don't want any of that. And I said, my father just wants to see the credits. That's all. Then he'll be ready to pay. Send me the link ASAP. So instead, he sends me this fake Gmail account, CY551803 Gmail, whatever. And I said, that's not what they're asking for. They want to see his big credits. That's it. If he doesn't have any, that's okay. If he's an amateur and not as big as you said, but just tell me the truth. Because if he really was a big engineer, then you just send me the link to his credits. He said, you know what happened? Chris Young is not having a big credit right now. That's what? That doesn't make any sense. But I can send you one of my engineer link now. Her name is Angela Easley. She is one of our studio in Nashville. Okay, so I clicked on this lady's YouTube. They probably just put her name in there. I'm going to actually tag her in this message because she's just walking around in the studio and it says Angela Easley, #1 producer in the studio Nashville. The place I think is called The Studio. So she's just walking around and talking about like, I'm in the studio. That's what she's doing. But they're trying to use her to basically make me think that she's in the studio with them, which is ridiculous. What's your dad said? Once again, not English. I said, great. My dad said this looks perfect. He said, send us Angela's email and we're ready to go. So then they go, okay, wait. And obviously they make this email up, Angela Easley 09 @gmail. I said, awesome. And what's her phone number? My dad wants to call her real quick and then he'll pay. He said, tell your dad she don't talk to anyone on call, please. What? If that's your engineer, why doesn't she talk to anyone? That doesn't make any sense. I talk to every engineer before I go into every recording studio. We talk about setup. We talk about microphones. We talk about how the day's going to flow. We talk about what artists are about to come in. What are you talking about? All right, except Google Chat. Yeah, because he wants to go on Google Chat. Or direct messenger because, once again, doesn't want to speak. But she don't talk to anyone on call. I mean, this sounds like a pretty high up there engineer. She don't talk to anyone on call. Even potential Sony artist clients that want to make sure it's legitimate. No, she doesn't do that. She's too big. I said, okay, my dad said he feels good about this and he only has one more question. So if you notice, I keep on saying, we feel great. One more question. So we're a couple hours in here because this is going back and forth over some time. Look at him. He says, oh my God. He puts the hand over the face. Do you want to get signed to our label or you keep asking questions here? But once again, okay, go ahead. I said, if my cousin comes, can she stay at your house? Because he wants to be able to us to focus separately. And if we are together in the same place, we won't get as much accomplished. Remember, this is the cousin I sent the picture of, the AI fake girlfriend. He says, yes, my brother, with a heart. I said, great. Woohoo. She's only 17, but she looks older. He goes, yes, can I see? What's her name? Now, he forgot I sent the picture earlier. So I send the picture again. I said, her name's Rebecca. She hasn't released any music publicly, but she sounds like a mixture of Adele, Taylor Swift, and Cardi B. She's amazing. He goes, all right, bro, when you get here, I'm going to introduce her to Adele or Doja Cat. When you come to Tennessee, I'm going to introduce her to Adele, you know what, or Doja Cat. This just whoever's hanging out that day is who I'm going to introduce your AI cousin to. That's what we're going to do from Sony. Yeah. Amazing. What's your dad say? When are you going to make payment? All right. I said, my dad said he's ready. Woohoo. He just needs your address since that's where my cousin will be staying. Remember, this cousin is 17. All right. I just said my 17-year-old underage cousin, they just agreed to. We're talking, this could get real dicey. I wanted to push the line and see how far they would go. And then I said, hurry, my dad is about to leave. I won't see him for another 2 weeks. So once again, applied some pressure. Okay, wait. So this whole time, this is actually a good 10 minutes between these messages. They were looking for an address. Because if you know your address, you just send it. You don't say, okay, wait. Hurry, what's your address? He's about to leave. Then they send me this address. And I look it up. This house is for sale. This house is empty. Here are pictures of the house. No one lives there. And I said, my dad left. You took so long to send the address. You took too long, buddy. So he writes, bye. Then I give him the Merry Christmas. He said, I won't lie to you. Your dad don't help your career at all. So watch how I start to try and flip it on this guy. I say, yeah, he's probably just jealous of me because he's always wanted to be a big star, but he has had bad stage fright. He said, can't you do something in your life without your dad? I said, yes, of course. I'm meant to be on a big stage with people screaming my name. I'm good and amazing to hear you say that or hear that from you. I said, but you took too long to get the address of the house. My dad was going to pay. He said, but you have to help yourself. Now watch the flip. Here's the jujitsu. How about if you let me borrow $1,000 and I'll pay you back? He said, let's not worry about my dad anymore. Let's just focus on you and me. We can do it together. Let me borrow the money and I'll promise I'll pay you back. He said, okay. Okay, how much can you afford right now? Then I can add it to pay the management. I said, I can't afford anything right now. I'm broke. But if you lend me the money, I'll pay it back from what Sony pays me. Remember, Sony's going to pay me $8,000 a week. Remember, that's what he told me? Sorry, we don't do that. Have a pay a lot for guys before they're not later processed for our label again. Once again, not clear English. Okay, I just thought since you said you believe in me and you're a big-time Sony executive that you'd at least have $1,000 I could borrow. He said, can't waste money on any unknown artist anymore. I said, but for you, $1,000 isn't a lot of money, right? You're successful, right? He says, sure, but you told me your parents are ready to invest in you. See from before why they wanted to keep talking to me? Yes, they were ready, but you took so long they left. But you're a big-time American music executive. You can't afford $1,000. Please believe in me. He said, can't you go to where they're living or call them? I said, I already told you I won't see them for another 2 weeks. They're on vacation on a boat. But you said my father doesn't want me to succeed, and I agree with you. And I think we should do this together. Forget about my dad and all of his rules. He says, try to understand me, bro. We can't book a flight or give you without paying first. Let me know a little amount, then I'll help you with the remaining. And I say, but if you pay for me first, then I'll pay you back what somebody pays me if it makes more sense. I'll pay you double. I'll pay you double what you give me. So you pay me $1,000, I'll give you back $2,000. He goes, let me know any little money you can get and I'll pay for the remaining balance. Okay, so what they're trying to do is they're saying that's $1,000 for this registration. And they're trying to lower it right now. So they're going, okay, we've been talking to this person for hours now. If we can even get $200 from them, if we can get $300 from this guy, then that's okay for the day. They're just trying to add up some money for the day. And if you look at this like a business, if they talk to, let's say, 100 artists a day, and if they can get 5 of them to believe this nonsense, and that 5 pay $200 a piece, they start off at $1,000, and some might pay $1,000, some might pay $200. Let's say on average they make $300-$400 per person they talk to a day. This can be very lucrative for scammers, especially because there's so many artists who don't know the business. So if they're sending out mass messages like this and they're scamming even a few $100s a day, they don't even have to have a regular job. This could be a full-time living scamming people, and that's a scary part. Like, the reason why I'm doing this is to drain this person so they're not talking to other people. The more time I have them spending talking to me, the less time they're scamming someone else. So then I go, okay, how about this? I'll pay you back 3 times. Now, this is getting interesting because if I'm paying you back 3 times, if you really have the money, you're going to see what I'm talking about. You give me $1,000, I'll give you back $3,000. Any good business person would take that deal. Oh, he says, then if you don't have any amount, you can wait for your parents. That's all, bro. I said, but you said my dad was against me. Why would you want to work with him? Maybe I can ask my cousin, the girl I showed you. She has a trust fund. So now I'm just messing. Now I'm like, listen, I'm going to pass it on to my cousin, the fake cousin. And we're talking through this right now. He's like, what's the cousin's Facebook name? Does she have a phone number you can see? What's her WhatsApp number? Starts to look into this cousin idea. And I'm not buying on the cousin. I'm like, I'm her manager. She's too young. So then he goes, okay, bye. I have a lot to do. And then I give him the same Merry Christmas hand wave. He said, talk to you later when you're serious and ready for a music career. And I said, I am serious. Reach out to me when you can spot me the money and I'll pay you back 3 times the amount. And then no conversation. This morning, writes me back again. Hey. So they're trying to get right back into the thing. So anyway, this is the final piece of catching a scammer. I would just say to everyone out there, when it comes to your music career, study the music business so that way you are not taken advantage of. It is so important. I've seen so many people get scammed. It's crazy. Like in the last year, I probably have had over 20 people who've gone through with the scam, who've paid the money, who've been ripped off. I probably know about 20 people who've written me and showed me receipts on things like this. And here's the scary part. When they write me, they don't even know it's still a scam. They show it to me and I instantly tell them this is a scam, but it's almost like I have to then convince them because in their minds, they're still holding on that it could possibly be something. And I'm showing them it's all fake, but they're still not connecting it because I understand they're still in the dream part of it. And so when they're stuck in the dream part, it's really hard to give up on that and say, wait a second, reality is showing me something different because there's that hope. So once again, study the music business, get around people who can teach you these things or can also protect you. You know, find communities like our community protects one another. We talk about these things. Find your community that protects you because in an industry like this where there's a lot of predators, there's a lot of sharks, you might have to become a lion. You need to be part of your own pack of lions, people that can protect you and can ward off others who might try to take what you have. And that's how it's going to be in any business where there's a lot of people who are trying to steal from others' dreams. So don't think it's not going to happen to you. Don't think there won't be a scammer who tries to work you out. And don't think there's not someone who's going to take advantage of you if you don't know the music industry. It will happen and you will get approached from some sort of scam throughout your career at some point. So just be aware that they're out there and find people who know what they're talking about and can show you the right way. All right. Hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll talk to you soon.